So I'll just get started right away, and then as people join, we can they can catch up a little bit. My name is Jeff Cullen. I'm from the Voodoo Store. This is our first ever live demonstration for our products. Hopefully it's the first of many. We really want to show you guys how we work with our products, a little bit outside the box. That way you can get ideas on things that you can do for your workings. So it kind of takes the traditional conjure supplies and really makes them diverse. So you can use them for a wide variety of things. So today we're going to be making a lover's devil poppet. This is going to act as a familiar to attract love into your life. So this is going to be for someone specific. So I've already have everything created for it, and then I'll show you how to prepare it. So basically what you're doing is you're making kind of like a familiar that's going to draw in the suitor that you want. So you don't really necessarily need to have a target in mind. This could just be a general love drawing poppet. What you first need to do is create a charge that's going to be personalized for your head. So I'll kind of show you that. This is the charge right here. Basically what I did was I created two separate petition papers. The first one is the name paper, so this has the person's name, date of birth, basically what they're looking for in a general term. The second one, what I did was I inscribed it with the fourth pentacle of Venus. I like to work with the pentacles a lot, as you can kind of see here. It's inscribed on this dish. I kind of use my own interpretation of them. They're not really perfect or pretty, but you know, they work. So I have the fourth pentacle of Venus, which is meant to help attract what you want. And with that, I put all of the specific characteristics this person is looking for in a potential partner. So that's going to be surrounding the pentacle. Then I anointed it with oils, added the herbs and some of the powders that we're going to be using, and then you bind it in string. So that's going to be one of the charges that we use for that. Now the main charge that's going to imbue the poppet with its energy is going to be one of our gris-gris. So typically gris-gris, they come from New Orleans. It's kind of like a little mojo bag. Generally you would carry this around and use it kind of like as an attractive charm, an attraction charm. But what I'm going to use it for is the heart of the poppet. So I'm going to use that kind of mojo energy to ensoul the poppet itself. Another thing that I forgot to mention was in the head charge is a magnet or lodestone. I use just a regular fridge magnet, like one of those little circle ones, just because I like that it gets kind of flat. But you can use smaller magnetic lodestones if you prefer. So, but we'll put those to the side for now. So, just to kind of map out what we're doing here, you're going to need a couple things. The first is going to be True Love powder. So this is sprinkled around to kind of bring in that love energy. It also makes it so that the love isn't forced. It's going to be like the perfect match for you. So we're going to start with that. Then we have, of course, planetary Venus oil. So we're working with the planet Venus as well as the goddess. Basically, you know, she rules that planet, so it gives you those properties that she has that are in her domain, so we're going to use that. This is for a gay man, so I'm going to include some pan oil. It's kind of like our version of cedar oil, if you've ever heard of that. But this is just kind of help bring that masculine attraction vibe to it. The next thing you're going to need is Venus Candle Fixing Blend. So this is our proprietary blend of herbs that you use to not only consecrate the candles, but we're going to use it in a little potion brew as well as inside the poppet itself. So the fumigation of the ritual is going to be with our Venus incense. Again, one of our own creations. Okay. Guess we're having issues with the camera that's kind of looking all over on this, but alright, so that's the core products that you're going to need for this ritual. Now, before the camera started, I created a little brew over here. What that's going to be is that's going to feed kind of like the almost like you would cologne or an alcohol into the spirit. I'm using our rose water. Is the camera working now?
It's blurry.
Okay, well, this is our rose water made of essential oils. So here we have that. Smells amazing, by the way. So when you got it brewing, it's going to start boiling a little bit. And actually, it's just starting to boil right now. So to that brew, I want to enhance the rose oil or the rose water itself. So I'm going to add regular red roses. Ooh, yeah, it's really starting to boil nice now. So I'm going to add a couple teaspoons of that. We also have Damiana, which is a really good passion and lust herb. It is prohibited in some states at the moment, but if you check your local laws, you might be able to get it. So we're going to add a little bit of that. A couple teaspoons. And then the last thing we're going to add, herb-wise, is the wormwood. So wormwood is a good overall witchcraft boosting herb. So I want to really have this amplified, so I'm going to add some wormwood to that. Now, some things that you're going to need that you can't get from our store are going to be obviously the lodestone, some red cotton string. Should I hold it up to the main camera? So red cotton string, red needle and thread for when you're sewing the poppet back up, and pomegranate concentrate or pomegranate juice. So we're going to add this to the potion as well. So this is going to give it a nice bloody aspect. So this is kind of like plant blood as opposed to animal blood. It's also associated with love, long-term love especially, so like marriage, partnership, that sort of thing. And in ancient times it was a good replacement for animal blood. So I'm going to give that a little stir. And that's smelling really nice. So this is all just the preparation at this point before we actually start doing what we're going to do. And I actually want to add a little bit of our Venus candle fixing blend to that potion right there. Now you can use our Venus bath as well, so that will already have the water and everything in it for you to boil. Alright. Hopefully you can see that going. It's really looking nice right now. So I'm going to light up some incense. So now I'm going to start fumigating the tools. Give some to the gods that are going to be here. What did I do here? What's he going to do with the ozo? Did I leave it out there probably? Alright. So now we're going to fumigate all of the components. Just pass that through there. It's not important now. Alright. So this is the devil poppet that we're going to use. So I kind of customized it. Typically what would happen, this is actually the tail, but because I know it's for a man, I kind of made it a little bit more, you know, anatomically correct, specifically because lust is going to be a big part of this. So The little testicles, I kind of made that out of a rose quartz heart stone, and then I just tucked the tail in between the legs and sewed it up. So I think that did perfect. I'm also going to anoint my hands with our Witch's Hands Conjure Rub. So this is a bottle that we had way back when our store first started. I've been using it forever. It doesn't look like this now. You actually get a little bit bigger of a bottle, but this stuff is great. So before you start any workings, usually just kind of throw that on there. Alright. Now we're going to open up the Poppet. So the good thing with these Poppets is they come pre-stuffed with Spanish moss, so it's not like some kind of synthetic fiber. But we also leave enough room in the head area so that you could stuff a charge in there. So like you have a nice path to that space, which is what we're going to do now. So what you're going to do is just kind of take out some of the stuffing that's already in there. And it's going to be messy, so this is not going to be a clean Poppet even when you're done. That potion is getting really nice and bubbly. So when you're placing the head charge into the Poppet, what you want to do is you want to construct it so that the face of the person is facing upwards, and then you're going to line that up with the Poppet. So not only is it going to be its own separate entity, but it's going to be a part of the person themselves too. I did not have time to get any kind of personal concerns from the person, but you can do that too. So any kind of hair, nails, fingernail, bodily fluids, all that good stuff. Alright, so that's nice and in there. Alright, so we're going to leave a nice little gap for... I'm actually going to take out more of this stuffing because I'm going to add a bunch of my own stuff in there. So. Alright, so what I'm going to do, this I'm going to actually anoint a little bit further with some of the oil that I have. Just kind of amplify that energy a little bit more. So when you do get them, they are already fed to the purpose, but we're going to kind of customize this so it's for this Poppet specifically. I'm left-handed, so I'm using my dominant finger to do this. Getting nice and saturated, so I got the Venus oil. Now we're going to do the pan oil. And this is our first live video, so we may have technical difficulties. You know, we're still trying to get all the kinks and stuff out, so. Normally I like to sit here and greet everyone as you come on, but I can't see anyone, so that's kind of why I just started like rambling right off the bat. But alright, so jam that guy in there like that. Kind of mash it down a little bit. So what I do is I usually do all the liquid stuff first. So we have the oil on there. And now this is where we're going to use the, it smells so good, little brew. So you're going to take a little bit of that stuff, all that good. Now it is hot, so try not to touch it. but it'll cool down pretty quick once you start using it. So generally you want to think of these as a living thing. So you have the body itself, the muscles, which is the stuffing, the organs, which are going to be the charms that you put in it, and then you want some kind of blood, so that's going to be the liquids. Alright, so now another little bit of this. I want this nice and saturated. So that's looking pretty good right there. Throw on a little bit more incense, because you can never have too much. And this all smells absolutely amazing. So as you're working, it really smells good. Alright, so that's it for our wet ingredients. So now I'm going to start adding some of the herbs. And already that brew has cooled down, so it's fine to handle. And it's boiling pretty good right now, so it cools pretty quickly once you get it in the Poppet. So I got the red roses, again a huge herb for love, one of the most popular. It actually comes from the Greco-Roman myth of Aphrodite. Her lover Adonis was slain by Ares in the form of a boar, and as he was dying she cut her skin on the rose plant and bled on it, and that's why it turned red. And follow up to that myth is that's also how rose quartz got its color. Their blood mingled and fell on the clear quartz and turned it into rose quartz. So just a little tidbit of knowledge. Now we're going to add the Damiana. Great thing you can do with Damiana is a lot of people like to steep it in their alcohol, so you'll put it in like wine or liqueur, and it gives that really good passionate, lusty love vibe in there. Add some more of the wormwood. Alright, so I'll open out a little bit more like that. And we're going to sprinkle it with the True Love powder. So I like to add a nice layer of True Love powder on there, kind of cover everything up. There we go. I'm going to kind of make a little cement with it by adding a little bit more of this brew right here. So when it dries, it'll harden really nicely. There we go, so that was good. Alright, So that's all set. Now what we're going to do is we're going to close this up. Hopefully I got enough thread for this. Wasn't sure how long it was going to be, but... And this doesn't have to be perfect. You know, I'm not a good sewer anyways, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. Hopefully it stays closed for this. Alan's the one who makes all the cool stuff with needle and thread, so... There we go. Now the purpose that I'm showing you here is for love, but the same kind of structure will apply no matter what you're doing. So if you're doing a poppet for like hexing, let's say, you would just switch all of the ingredients to, for example, hexing oil, you know, goofer dust, hexing gree, all that. You can even brew one of our hexing water in there for the feed. If you wanted money, you just switch it all to the money drawing stuff, maybe using road opener powder or even bank dirt. So it's really just up to you, whatever you want it to do. And I will be taking questions at the end, so hopefully I didn't like go too fast. Like I said, this is our first live and I can't see anything, so I just figured I would just start rambling right off the bat. Hopefully it hasn't been too confusing. See, that's looking pretty nice. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be closed super tightly because you're actually going to be doing another step after this to further kind of seal it. So keep getting stuck on a little arm there. Almost there. This is taking a really long time because again, I'm not really good at this. So. Despite being an artist, you'd think I'd be able to do something simple like so, but it is actually very challenging. I have my husband on the other side of the table writing me notes, telling me to hurry up and keep talking and stuff, but I'm trying to concentrate so I don't jab my finger on live video. That would be very embarrassing. Alright, so he is closed now. Oopsie, almost did it. Just gonna give it a little couple extra turns. I think that's how you do it. There we go. I wanted him to be playing cool, creepy music in the background, but he wouldn't. It would have felt like a vibe. It's almost done now. Alright, so he's all closed. Gotta wipe off all the stuff from this Or privates. So again, he's like kind of wet and gooey, but that's fine. What I usually like to do is take the prepared candle that we have, gently without burning myself. You can use the taper candle or you can use a 7-day candle. Totally up to you, whatever you have at your disposal. And I just kind of seal it with the wax. Make sure he doesn't catch on fire. So this candle was prepared, inscribed with the name and the intentions, as well as some symbols. So when you're adding the wax to it, you're actually adding that intention to it as well. There we go. And the final step that I like to do is wrap them up in some string. So this is going to seal the spirit to the doll symbolically. Hopefully that's enough. Plus it just helps it look cool. Things covered in strings always look cool. You can stick a mirror on there to help it attract spirits, adding to the cool aesthetic. Oh looky, I got a little monitor now, I can see what I'm doing. Alright, this little guy is just about done. So there's that. The last thing I like to do, like a big giant gree-gree, anoint them with the oil. I really want this to have a lot of this Venus energy, so kind of going crazy with all this. And I will get better at these videos, I promise. This is my first time kind of like going in blind and not seeing anyone, and I don't even know if anyone's looking.
People.
Get the most important part. And there's no right or wrong way to do any of this. You know, let your intuition and your spirits guide you. And don't let people on the internet discourage you from trying something new or, you know, kind of making something your own too. Now we're going to do the pan oil. This is one of our best selling oils, by the way. You can wear it as a cologne, or you can get the Fountain Cologne, which smells exactly like it, and it's oil based rather than, or alcohol base rather than oil base. All right, get that nice and good. Since this is a lusty oil, I'm gonna pay a little bit of extra attention right here. There we go. Flip them over. Alright, so he is nice and anointed. So at this point, the doll is pretty much done. The Poppet's pretty much done. What you would do now is you would actually ritually awaken it, which for this we would use Aphrodite or Venus, as well as my patron gods Pan and Hecate. Basically, you would ask them to basically ensoul it, give it life, and let it do what it's supposed to do. But that's going to take a little while. I have to do offerings and stuff, so I'll do that a little later. I'm going to fumigate it again real fast now that it's done. Put a little bit more of the incense on there. And everything smells so nice. Alright, so after I do the ritual with this, what I'm going to do is leave the candle burning, let that burn out completely, test it to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do, and then ship it off to the client. So at this point, this is pretty much done. Pretty simple. I don't think it took too long. So, as I said, this can be done for any purpose. It doesn't have to just be for love stuff. I was going to do a hexing one, but I figured for our first video we should probably start with something a little more friendly. But maybe we'll touch on that a little bit later. At this point, I'll take questions if anybody has any questions, comments. The incense is probably going right into the camera, but it might look cool. I don't know. I can't see it. Oh yeah, it does look cool. Yeah. And hopefully my husband will keep up. It is on a little bit of a delay, so. What? Oh yeah, he can say hi. He's in the background. So read me some questions.
Back here.
Yeah. Oh, and that's about to. So one of these little baths kind of lasts however long this has been. This is about to kind of simmer off and probably start burning the herb. So I'll blow that on very quick shortly. Keep that off. There we go. Any questions, comments?
Nope, no questions at the moment.
Well, we're always here. You know, we'll be doing more of these. They will be better. Now that he has this little screen up, I can actually see what I'm doing and not like kind of wing it.
The question on the side.
That's so tiny I can't see that. Yeah. So next time it'll be a little bit better. We just got all kinds of new technology literally an hour ago, and right before we started, everything turned off for some reason. So we kind of had a freak out. So, you know, hopefully it all came together and made sense, and you guys liked it. But if there's no questions or comments, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now and then get this finished and sent off to the client. And he's taking away my viewing privileges, so now I'm kind of stuck. Well, thank you for joining our very first live. Like I said, hopefully you liked it. Let us know if you want to see something specific, how to use any of our products, or how to even make something. It doesn't even have to be our product, like related to our product specifically. Generally, we like to talk. Usually, we can't shut up unless I'm trying to sew. Oh, you're gonna expect me to see that? What's it say? What's the question?
Hold on, your questions.
Oh my god. Alright, so the questions are coming, so I guess I'm not going to leave yet. This is a super fancy witch tea. It's not energy drink. What do we got?
If there are symbols on the plate.
Yes. Okay, so the symbol on the plate
Let me show real quick.
is a very customized fourth pentacle of Venus. Basically, what I did was I did not feel like writing all the Hebrew stuff because not only do I not know what it says, but I don't know how to write it. And I don't know if it's like you have to write it a certain way for it to work. So I got rid of all that and I added my own little symbols. Basically what the Hebrew says, it's a verse from the Old Testament that goes around the outside, and then names of angels on the inside. So what I did was I put the symbol of Venus, the double symbol of Mars, because this is again to attract a gay lover, the star of Venus, which is basically just a pentacle, and then a symbol for the horn god, or Pan, again to link it to that the gay nature of what we're doing, which sounds really odd to say out loud, but that's what it is. And then I have the Seal of Solomon, or the Star of David, on top, because this is all from the Lesser Key of Solomon, book that I love, and I really love messing with ancient technologies and like pretty much giving purists heart attacks by getting rid of a bunch of the stuff that they say is important and then just making it however I want. That's how I operate. So like I said, there's no right or wrong way. Use your intuition, do whatever you like. To me this works. I did make this in the hour of Venus. I would have liked to make it Friday, but we just got it today, so I had to make sure it was done at the proper time, like, along with the charge where I use the same pentacle. But yeah, that's what's on there. So I like to use different symbols and stuff. I don't know if I like to use plates just because you can kind of draw your own things on there and control the mess, which obviously I did not do a good job of because there's still just a mess everywhere. This I actually painted with just acrylic paints, and then I thought it was going to dry in time, but it didn't, and that's why it kind of looks like it's engraved, which kind of looks cool, but I'm going to have to repaint it. And then we also got chalkboard paint, which I did not know takes 24 hours to cure, so we had to scrap that idea, so that's why it's just acrylic paint right now. But I am going to redo it in chalkboard paint. This will be like a permanent tool. The one I usually use is a lot smaller and couldn't accommodate everything we were doing. So, and then usually I use a metal plate, but because of the lighting, it like totally glared. And
next question.
yes.
Would you make this? Do you have all the materials in your shop?
Yes. So everything is available, from the red Poppet, the candles, the Gree-Grees, the True Love powders. We're gonna actually put a list of what you can get at our shop, and then some of the things like the pomegranate concentrate, you can just get this at, I don't know, we got this at a local Middle Eastern store, but you can use pomegranate juice, so that's something you can use instead of this. I just like the concentrate a little bit better because it was a little bit more bloody, and since I use it for the Poppet blood, make sure I have it in the right spot so you guys can see it. This way, here we go. Yeah. It looks really nice and bloody, and it also smells really good when you're boiling it in a cauldron. So I'll use this to replace like animal blood. So any kind of spell that requires blood sacrifice. I mean, ideally, like I said, purists will say you probably need blood, but I just use that. If it needs to be like chicken blood, I'll put some feathers in it and boil it a little bit. That's another thing. So when you're making this potion for your poppet, if you don't want to throw the personal concerns in here, like for example, let's say it's a fluid, we'll let your imagination run wild with that one. You can boil it in the brew, and that way it gets all that energy, and then you put it in here. So it makes it a little bit more, well, a little less gross, and then a little more imbued into the energy of what you're doing. And I now see that he put a list of all the things you can get from our store. Yeah, that's a very big delay. What's next? What do we got?
And that is it. Just those ingredients in the full shop. We'll be putting the list on.
Yeah, so when we post this video, we're gonna put a list along with how to actually do it. So I have it all written up, and I just need to type it. So when we actually have this video on there, it'll give you all the instructions. We look forward to doing this a lot more. So I'm hoping that we get all the technical kinks worked out. I hope next time he doesn't just say, talk to the camera and don't see anything or what anything looks like, because that really messed me up. But I think I kind of got through it. But yeah, the more we do these, the more we figure it out. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this. If there's no more questions, you can hit us up on Facebook. Send us an email at orders@voodoostore.com. We'll be more than happy to help you out with anything you need. If you want to hire us to do this particular working, let us know. We are available to do that too. Which now Alan has to turn that back on because I just said it. All right, well, thanks everyone, and we will definitely see you very shortly.